make your own choices. Think about it. The clothes you wear, the people you like, even the things you buy, are they truly your decisions? Or are you being guided by something you can't see? The truth is, most of what you do every day is shaped by hidden psychological triggers. These triggers quietly control your behavior without you even noticing. But once you understand them, you can start taking back control. So, stay till the end of this video, because when you finish watching, you'll see yourself and the world around you in a completely new way. Let's start with one of the strongest and most surprising triggers, the power of the first impression. You've probably heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But have you ever wondered why that first moment matters so much? It's because of something called the Primacy Effect. This is a psychological rule that says the first piece of information you receive about someone or something shapes how you see everything else that comes after. Imagine meeting someone for the first time.
They smile, shake your hand, and seem confident.
Right away, your brain decides this person is nice. Even if they later do something rude or make a mistake, you'll likely forgive it because your first impression still holds power. Now, flip the situation. If someone seems cold or distracted when you first meet them, your brain might label them as unfriendly. Even if they later act kind, it's hard to fully change that first picture. That's how powerful the primacy effect is. It shapes the story your mind tells about people long before you have all the facts. This doesn't only happen with people. Think about when you try a new product or watch a new If the first few seconds are boring or confusing, you lose interest fast. But if those opening moments catch your attention, your brain automatically marks it as worth my time. That's why brands, influencers, and even job seekers work so hard on their first impression. They know that your brain loves shortcuts, and the first one it takes often becomes the only one that matters. Psychologists have studied this for years. In one famous study, people watched short clips of teachers just a few seconds long. Then they rated how good those teachers seemed. Later, students who actually took full courses with those same teachers gave almost the same ratings. That means people could judge someone's entire personality from only a few seconds. That's the primacy effect in action. Fast, emotional, and often unfair. So what can you do about it? First, be aware of how quickly your brain forms opinions. Notice when you instantly like or dislike someone. Ask yourself, is this based on facts or just a first feeling? Second, when you're meeting new people, starting a new job, or introducing your work to others, make those first seconds count. Speak clearly, so interests smile, if it fits. It doesn't mean being fake. It means giving your best version before your brain or there's jumps to conclusions. Here's something interesting. Even your brain forms first impressions of ideas. If someone tells you a shocking fact early in a video or conversation, your brain becomes more open to everything that follows. That's why this first trigger, understanding the power of the first impression, can change how you communicate, how you judge others, and even how others see you. By the end of this video, you'll learn about 5 such psychological triggers. Some of them control how you buy, how you think, and even how you feel. But if you stay till the end, you won tea. Just understand them. You'll start to see the hidden patterns shaping your life every single day. Because the moment you notice the invisible forces that control you, that's the moment they start to lose their power.
Have you ever noticed how something suddenly feels more valuable the moment it becomes rare?
Maybe it's the last cookie in the jar, or a limited edition sneaker drop, or that little only 2 left in stock.
Message on a shopping website.
Suddenly, your heart beats a little faster. You feel like you have to get it now before it's gone. That's not just impulse.
That's the scarcity trigger at work, one of the most powerful psychological forces shaping your behavior every single day. Your brain is wired to chase what seems rare.
Long ago, this instinct helped humans survive.
If food or resources were limited, the brain learned to act fast before losing the chance.
But in today's world, companies, marketers, and even social media use that same instinct against you.
They make things look scarce, so you'll want them more. Think about flash sales, countdown timers, or prices like exclusive offer, last chance, or limited seats. These are not just marketing words. They are psychological hooks designed to trigger urgency in your mind.
When you see something rare, your brain releases a bit of dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel excitement and anticipation. It's the same chemical that drives addiction.
The fear of missing out, or FOMO, kicks in.
Suddenly, you're not just thinking, "Do I want this?"
You're thinking, what if I don't get it? That small shift changes everything. You'll stop making rational choices and start reacting emotionally. Here's the interesting part. Scarcity doesn't even need to be real. If a website says only 3 rooms left,
even when there are dozens available, your brain still reacts.
In one study, people were offered 2 jars of cookies.
One jar had 10 cookies. The other had only 2.
Even though the cookies were exactly the same, most people said the 2-cookie jar tasted better. That's how deep the scarcity trigger runs. It changes not only what you want, but how you experience value itself. Social media also plays on this trigger. Think about viral trends.
They blow up fast and fade just as quickly.
Because everyone's doing it right now, you feel like you need to join before it disappears.
The same goes for online content, limited time offers, early access, exclusive drops. They all feed your brain the same message. Act fast or lose out.
And that pressure often makes you do things you wouldn't normally do, like buying something you don't need or signing up for something you don't have time for.
But here's the truth. Real value doesn't disappear that fast. The next time you feel that rush, that panic to click buy now or say yes before it's too late, pause for just a second.
Ask yourself, do I really want this, or do I just want to avoid losing it? That one question can save you money, time, and regret, of course. Scarcity isn't always bad. You can use it in positive ways, too. Limiting your screen time, for example, can make your free time feel more special. Setting personal deadlines can motivate you to finish goals faster. The key is to understand when you're in control and when the trigger is controlling you. So remember this, your brain loves rare things.
But not everything rare is worth chasing. Sometimes, the things that last are the ones everyone overlooks.
And the more you notice the scarcity trigger in action, the less power it has over you. Stay with.
Maybe cause. Next, we'll uncover another invisible force that shapes your choices. One that makes you trust, follow, and even obey people without realizing it.
It's called the authority bias, and it might just explain why you believe some voices more than others. Why do we trust some people so easily?
A person in a lab coat, a man in a suit, a confident voice online.
Without checking facts, we often believe them.
That is because of a hidden force in your mind called the authority bias, a psychological trigger that makes you trust and follow people who seem powerful, smart, or official. This bias starts early. As children, we learn to listen to parents, teachers, and leaders. Our brains link authority with safety.
So when someone looks or sounds like an expert, our guard drops. We stop asking questions.
We assume they must be right, even when they're not.
One of the most famous examples comes from the Milgram experiment in the 1960s.
In T's study, people were told by a scientist in a white coat to give electric shocks to another person for giving wrong answers. The shocks weren't real, but the participants didn't know that.
Many of them continued pressing the button, even when the person screamed in pain, just because the authority told them to. It showed how far humans will go when they believe they're following orders from someone powerful or credible.
Now, think about your own life. When a doctor gives you advice, do you double-check it? When a famous influencer recommends a product, do you stop to question if it's sponsored? When you read something on a professional-looking website, do you verify the source? Most of us don't, because authority feels safe. It saves time and effort.
But that shortcut often leads to blind trust and sometimes manipulation.
Marketers know this very well. That's why you see doctors in toothpaste commercials, experts in ads, or verified badges on social media profiles. They know that a symbol of authority, a lab coat, a title, or even a blue check mark is enough to convince your brain. It doesn't even matter if that authority is real or fake. The image alone can trigger automatic trust.
Authority bias also explains why fake news spreads so.
When people see confident statements, big words, or official-sounding names, they assume it must be true. It feels easier to believe than to question.
But here's the danger. Authority can silence your own thinking.
It can stop you from asking why or how. So, how do you protect yourself from this trigger? Start by noticing how you react to authority.
When you hear something from an expert, pause and ask, do I believe this because it's true or because they sound important?
Then, check the facts. Read from more than one source.
Real authority doesn't demand blind trust, it invites understanding. At the same time, you can also use authority bias in positive ways.
If you want to build trust in your work, your business, or your communication, show credibility, share real results.
Speak clearly and confidently. People respond to confidence, not arrogance.
The goal is not to manipulate others, but to communicate with clarity and trust.
Here's the truth. Authority can guide you, but it should never control you. The moment you start thinking for yourself, you take back your power. You stop falling blindly and start choosing wisely.
Now, stay tuned, because the next trigger might surprise you even more.
It's the one that makes us copy others, join trends, and follow the crowd even when we know better. It's called social proof, and it silently shapes almost every decision you make. Have you ever bought something just because everyone else was buying it? Or joined a trend you didn't even like, just to fit in?
That's not a random choice. That's the social proof trigger at work.
It's the part of your brain that whispers, if everyone's doing it, it must be right. And believe it or not, this simple idea controls more of your behavior than you think.
Humans are social creatures.
From the beginning of time, our survival depended on being part of a group. Standing alone meant danger. So, our brains evolved to copy others, to fit in, to belong, and to stay safe. The SYU feel more confident about your decisions when you see other people doing the same thing. It feels natural. It feels right. But that feeling can easily fool you.
Psychologists proved this in the famous Asch conformity experiment.
In Scarcity, a group of people looked at several lines and had to say which one was longest.
The answer was obvious.
But here is the trick. Most of the group was told to give the wrong answer on purpose.
When it was the real participants' turn, many of them also gave the wrong answer, just to match the group.
Even when they knew it was wrong, they still followed. Why?
Because being different felt uncomfortable. That same pressure happens to you every day, just in quieter ways. You see a restaurant packed with people, and you assume the food must be good. You scroll through social media and see everyone hyping a new product, so you think you need it too.
You check reviews before buying something online because you want to make sure others liked it first.
These habits seem harmless, but they show how much we depend on other people as opinions to feel safe with our own choices.
Social proof can also be powerful in digital life.
Think about likes, views, and followers. These numbers aren't just for show. They're social signals.
The more likes something has, the more valuable your brain thinks it is.
That's why influencers and companies chase numbers.
They know your brain sees popularity as proof of quality, even when it's not. But here's the danger. Following the crowd can make you lose your own voice.
It can stop you from thinking, questioning, or exploring what truly matters to you.
Sometimes the crowd is wrong.
History is full of examples where people followed others into mistakes, fear, or even harm, just because everyone else did it. So, what can you do? The first step is awareness.
When you find yourself agreeing with something, ask, do I really believe this, or am I just going along with others?
It is okay to follow trends if they make you happy, but not if they control you. True confidence comes from knowing your reasons, not borrowing them from others. On the flip side, social proof can work in your favor too. If you're starting a project, building a brand, or leading a team, showing evidence that others trust or support you can help build credibility. Testimonials, reviews, and positive feedback all use social proof in a healthy way. The key difference is honesty. It's about sharing real influence, not creating fake hype. So next time you feel that pull to fit in, take a second to breathe and ask yourself, am I following the crowd or following myself? Once you start seeing social proof for what it is, you'll begin making choices based on your values, not just the noise around you. And if you think that's powerful, wait till you hear about the next trigger. It's the one that lives inside your brain, quietly training you like a lab rat. It's the reason you can't stop scrolling, checking your phone, or chasing tiny rewards. It's called the reward loop, and it's the most addictive trigger of them all. Why do you keep checking your phone, even when you know there's nothing new?
Why do you tell yourself just 5 more minutes, then end up scrolling for an hour?
That's not just bad self-control, that's the reward loop at work. It's a psychological trigger built deep inside your brain, and it controls your behavior more than you realize.
Your brain is wired to love rewards.
Every time you do something that feels good, like eating your favorite food, getting a compliment, or hearing a notification ping, your brain releases dopamine.
The feel-good chemical. It's like a little burst of happiness.
But here's the trick. Dopamine isn't really about the reward itself.
It's about wanting the reward.
It keeps you chasing that next hit over and over again. That's why you can't stop checking your messages or refreshing your feed. Every time you expect something new, a like, a text, a view, your brain lights up. Even if nothing exciting happens, the anticipation alone is enough to keep you hooked. This is called the variable reward system. It means you don't get a reward every time, only sometimes in random patterns. And that's exactly what keeps you addicted. Psychologists discovered this effect with lab rats.
When rats got food every time they pressed a lever, they stopped pressing once they were full. But when the food came at random times, they couldn't stop pressing again and again, hoping for another surprise. Sound familiar?
That's the same loop behind social media, video games, and even gambling. You never know when the next reward will hit, so you keep going.
Modern apps are built around this.
Notifications, streaks, likes, and endless scrolling are all designed to keep your dopamine system busy. Each swipe gives your brain a small promise. Maybe the next one will be exciting. And your brain listens.
It keeps chasing that maybe. even when you know it's wasting your time. But the reward loop isn't always bad.
It's how habits are formed. You can use it to your advantage if you learn how it works. For example, you can create positive reward loops like working out and rewarding yourself with a small treat, or studying for an hour and then watching your favorite show.
The trick is to link your reward to effort, not impulse.
That way, your brain learns to crave progress, not just pleasure.
To break unhealthy loops, start by noticing the cues.
What triggers you to reach for your phone? Boredom? Stress? Habits? Once you know the trigger, change your response. Instead of opening an app, take a short walk, stretch, or write something down. At first, it feels hard because your brain is used to instant hits.
But the more you delay the easy rewards, the more control you regain. Think of dopamine like fire.
It can keep you warm or burn your house down.
When you use it right, it drives you to achieve goals, learn, and create.
But if you let it control you, it keeps you chasing empty moments.
So, next time you find yourself stuck in that endless scroll, pause and ask, is this really giving me something, or just keeping me busy?
That single question can snap the loop for a moment, and that's where real freedom begins.